My sister had planned to take a trip to London to visit our older brother and his wife. It was during the spring break, so I decided to tag along with her. When we arrived at my brother's house, it was about 3:30 in the afternoon. My sister-in-law greeted us and invited us to come inside. My sister-in-law had told us months earlier that her 12-year-old niece, that was able to see spirits, saw a little girl about her own age in the hallway. My sister and I didn't believe in ghosts and such at that time, so we decided to go visit them anyway. That day flew by really quickly, and it was time to hit the hay. I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. When I was about to go back to bed, I saw a girl's figure in the hallway. She was just standing there. At first I thought it was my sister that was waiting for me to get out of the bathroom, but when I walked towards her, she suddenly ran through me. It scared the living shit out of me. When I snapped out of it, I ran as fast as I could back to the room. I jumped into bed and I pulled the covers over my head. My sister woke up minutes later and asked me why I was shivering uncontrollably. I told her that I had seen a ghost of a little girl with my very own eyes. The very next day, we packed our stuff and we drove back home. I could still picture the little girl in my head when I closed my eyes. It's been almost a year now, and I haven't visited my brother or his wife since. A couple of months ago, my friend's cousin, a single mother, bought a new mobile phone. After a long day of work, she came home. She placed her phone on the counter and she went to watch TV. A little bit later, her son came to her and asked her if he could play with the new phone. She told him not to call anyone or mess with the text messages, and he agreed. At around 11:20, she was a bit sleepy, so she decided to tuck her son in and go to bed herself. She walked into his room and saw that he wasn't there. She then ran over to her room, finding him asleep on her bed with the phone in his hand. Relieved, she picked her phone back up from his hand to inspect it. Browsing through it, she noticed only minor changes, such as a new background and a new banner, etc. But then she opened up her save pictures. She began deleting the pictures he had taken until only one new picture remained. When she saw it, she was in disbelief. It was her son sleeping on her bed, but the picture was taken by someone else above him, and it showed the left half of an elderly woman's face. She was absolutely terrified. Me and my friends were making videos on YouTube when my mother said it was time for dinner, so we all jumped in her car and drove to Pizza Hut for some pizza. I remember this clearly since it just happened on the last night of my 12th birthday. When we returned home, we were just sitting around, so my friends decided to have a few toasts for my birthday and they all wished me happy birthday. Then, all of a sudden, all of the hair on my right arm pricked up and I could hear whispering in my right ear. I couldn't move my arm, as if someone were holding my arm still. I screamed and cried as the voice that sounded like some sort of weirdo language whispered in my ear. Even though this sounds totally unbelievable, this has happened to me more than once. 5 times actually. Once at my friend's house for her birthday party. Another time when I was at a museum for the Greek gods or something like that. That memory was very fuzzy because I was only in nursery then. The other memories are too horrid to describe. Anyway, when we were finished, my friend asked me what the voice said. I told her that I couldn't pronounce it, but I can spell it. When I tried to write it out in English, my hand jerked into a frenzy, so I scribbled it out. When I saw the letters, I cried until I finally got an idea. I ran to my copy machine and had my mum scan it. I'm not too good with technology. My friend said that it was supposed to have said beware in Greek. What was I supposed to be aware of? Every time that happened to me, it said the same thing, beware in Greek. Later that night, we were getting ready for bed. We all brushed our teeth and we put on the bedsheet. We all stayed up playing Xbox until about 11:30 and then we went to bed. Then, at about 3 in the morning, my dog just started barking and growling at the radio and cassette player, which just so happened to have the sound of music coming out of it. Specifically Mozart, who one of my friends had noticed to just turn on by itself. We then heard my dog whimpering. My dog wanted to go inside my bedroom. So I opened my bedroom door and my dog ran into my room, tail between his legs, still whimpering. I woke up the rest of my friends and told them that something is out there. Gillian, one of my friends, was suddenly alert because she was the only one who really knew my problem. I didn't share the problem with the rest of my friends because Gillian had the same secret. My other friend Alexis was still snoring and we had to leave her there in fear that we might be heard. I stepped into the loft and nobody was there. I grabbed my friend's hand and tried to take her down the stairs, but she would not budge. I looked at Gillian and she pointed at the computer. The computer was playing more Mozart and we ran back into my room. "That's not a ghost," said Gillian. "It's a warning," I said. I remember the shape of a figure. It was a shimmer in the air like mist. It looked like a man that was growing a golden aura. Its presence felt powerful and ancient. Something that I couldn't understand, that this thing was that strong. It was enough to make me almost go mad. But the presence of the image seemed really peaceful. Like it wasn't going to hurt me. Oh my God, I can feel breathing on my shoulder as I type these words. I'm looking over my shoulder right now. Nobody is there. I'm going to try and type the rest of my story. As I was saying, we ran back into my room and shut the door. We tried to sleep that night, but I kept hearing footsteps right outside our door. It sounded like somebody was pacing backwards and forth, waiting for us. The image outside was already enough. It was horrible, yet so glorious and powerful. The following morning, the whispering in my ear and the hair being pricked on the back of my arm happened again, which was actually this morning. And it didn't happen again until I was in the middle of writing this story.